Hi, this is Alex Behrens with Maple Leaf Coffee Roasters in Roselle. I'm here today to talk about our December Club coffee, Peaberry coffee from Burundi. Check it out. So a reminder for everyone, the Coffee Club program at Maple Leaf Coffee Roasters is a special program where we bring in a club members only coffee and roast it 3 different ways, send out a bunch of notes and information about the coffee to our members, and offer them a choice of which one of those 3 roasts that they want for that month. Sometimes we have some extra bags as well, which we offer at a discount, but this is a members only coffee club program. And the only way to become part of the program is to join it in person or send us a note, and we'll be happy to get you added to our list. This month we have a coffee from Burundi that's a Peaberry coffee. Peaberry coffees are generally little scrunchy beans. They have a kind of scrunchy appearance, and they usually have a little bit of an herbal spice tint to them no matter how you roast them. We've had Peaberry coffees from all over the world, some from Africa, some from Asia Pacific, some from the Central American regions as well. And they're always a fun addition to whatever the base coffee is. And this one being a coffee from Burundi is going to have more of a fruity bent to it than other coffees too. So we always like to see these kind of coffees in the store because they have a little bit of an exotic feel to them. That's an interesting change of pace. Right now on the shelf for the holidays, we do have a Peaberry coffee from Papua New Guinea, and that one, true to its name, does have a little bit of an herbal spice tint to it, different from the kind of conventional flavors that we see out of the Papua New Guinea coffees as well. So I'm really excited for this coffee for that reason. Plus the basic Burundi flavors as well. So this wasn't a super difficult coffee to roast. We roasted this generally the usual way that we do light, medium, and dark. The light coffees, we try to pull out a little bit of a sharp feel to it. The medium roast is more balanced. And the dark roast didn't go super dark this time, but did get a nice kind of roasty flavor to it. In some ways, it reminded me a little bit of a Nicaraguan coffee and some of the flavors on the dark roast side, but not a difficult coffee to roast by any means, and something that was really kind of easygoing, not a super chaffy coffee as well. A lot of times some of the African coffees can have a higher chaff content, but this one was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, nothing super exotic. Generally speaking, Peaberry coffees can be a little bit of a challenge to roast, but this one didn't have that feel to it at all, so easy and straightforward from that perspective. So this month, the 3 coffees had a very different feel amongst each of them. Usually there's a little bit of a transition state from light, medium to dark in the coffees where you can kind of pick up some of the flavors of the light roast in the medium, some of the medium flavors in the dark. And this was one that all 3 of these had a really different kind of overall feel. The only common thread between the 3 of them is that spice tone that you see out of Peaberry coffees. On the light roast side this month had much more of a fruit forward feel to it, but the fruit kind of flavors in this coffee were balanced out a little bit with that herbal spice feel that I mentioned from the Peaberry coffee. And this is one of the really cool coffees where I actually saw a little bit of a coconut feel to it as well. Sometimes in the flavor wheel, people look at it and they think, well, how can coffee have some of the things that are on this flavor wheel? And we've had some interesting coffees over time that have had some exotic things in them that normally you wouldn't expect out of a coffee that seem really out there and wild. And this is one of those months where we definitely had that case. So the light roast had that kind of white chocolates, a little bit of the coconut feel to it, something that was sweet but not a sharp sweet that you normally see. A little bit of an acidity to it as well. Not the sharpest African coffee that we've had in the coffee club, but it has a little bit of a bite to it. And if you're not in the mood for that kind of thing, I would stay away from this one. Had a little bit more of a stone fruit quality to it as well. Not a super fruity coffee, but had that kind of fruity tone that you normally see out of an African coffee. As opposed to the medium roast, which was much more of a balanced coffee overall. Still had that spice feel to it. Still had a little bit of the sharp kind of tone to it that you see out of some African coffees as well. But very much more of a mild version of the light roast that toned down some of the fruitiness to it. Still was sweet, more of a chocolate forward coffee on this form too. So if you're looking for something balanced, but still had a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of a fruity quality to it, the medium roast is probably going to be the thing for you this month. I definitely liked the dry finish out of the medium roast as well. I think the light roast had more of a juicy finish to it, while the medium roast had more of a dry kind of feel overall. Not the most dry coffee that we've had, but usually in medium roast you see that balanced flavor. And this month's coffee, though the medium roast had a balanced feel to it overall, it had a kind of a dry, interesting finish to it that sort of feels a little bit like a dark roast in some respect that I think would be a nice change of pace for anyone who normally goes for a dark roast. this is worth a shot. On the dark roast side, this had a very similar feel to it to Nicaraguan coffees that I've had before as dark roasts. So it had a kind of a spice hint to it still from the Peaberry coffee beans themselves, but more of a roasty tone, a little cherry feel, and a little bit of a kind of marshmallow hint as well. I normally look in Nicaraguan coffees for something sweeter, toastier kind of feel. And this is one that really reminded me a lot of drinking a good Nicaraguan coffee, a dark roast that had a nice body to it, not an overpowering or burned or bitter flavor, but something that really sat with your stomach quite nicely and wasn't something that finished super quick, left kind of a lingering flavor overall, but didn't turn your nose sideways. So if you're a person that normally goes for the dark roasts, this is a really great choice, and I think has some exotic flavors and feels to it. You will get a little bit of the fruity qualities to it, but it'll be kind of paired with that roasty consistency that you usually see out of a dark roast. And I think it's just a really nice dark roast overall that has a nice balance to it as well and isn't super burned or bitter or dark. So this month, I think these are 3 great options. Very stark contrast between the 3 of them. As I said, the only common thread between each 3 is that Peaberry consistency to it that you get with the kind of herbal spice feels. So if this sounds like an interesting coffee to you and you're interested in joining our program, feel free to send us an email or drop to the store anytime you'd like, and we will be glad to sign you up for it. We usually have a few open slots around the holidays as some people drop off and some people come on and buy these for holiday gifts, which is definitely an option as well. We have a couple people that buy these as yearly gifts every time this month comes around. So we'd love to see you in the store, and I hope to see you next month for a great club coffee in January. Catch you soon.